Hello, everyone, and welcome to Unique Peace, the podcast all about peace. I am Janice. I am a Reiki Master Teacher and Psychic Medium here on Long Island. Today, I'm going to be joined by the lovely Zee Saleem. She's a board-certified hypnotist, a mindset and nervous system coach. She is also the founder of Emerge with Zee. And today, we're going to learn all about peace with Zee. Hi, Zee.
Hi, Janice. How are you today?
I am wonderful. How about yourself?
Oh, I'm doing well. Thank you so much for having me today.
Oh, I'm excited for this conversation.
It's not scripted, Janice.
So I met Zee at a charity event called Hair We Share. And it was a wonderful event raising money for an organization that makes wigs for people going through chemo. And we have a mutual friend, Angela LaRosa, who was there. And Zee and I got to talking, and we found out we have a lot in common. and I would love for her to be on. So she is. And she's got a story to share. She was working in corporate and found out how many of us do that that's just not where we belong. And so she left the corporate world. She became a hypnotist. She is a mindset coach and a nervous system coach. And she's going to walk us through her story.
Oh, thank you so much, Janice. I don't even know how much of this story, how much time you have for me. So yes, as you mentioned, Janice, I was working in New York City, corporate America for over 34 years. Yes, I started really young. And, every job I had, it just was not fulfilling. It was not, I guess, I wasn't living with passion. I wasn't living with purpose. And as I got older and, I was in corporate America, I was in real estate, healthcare, finance, the big three. And I never felt in any of those positions that I was being rewarded or that I was living authentically, right? I always felt like I was working for somebody else, lining someone else's pockets, feeding somebody else's corporate growth, but it wasn't growing me as a person. It wasn't growing our communities. I mean, there were things that we did within those companies that really was the bread and butter of what I loved the most, which was giving back to the communities. I got involved in the last few years of all of the volunteerism within the companies. So I would do, the Making Strides, American Heart Association fundraisers. I would be working to whatever we can to fundraise, help give back. I brought food banks to local communities in Queens. I did even like baby showers. So it was bringing, underprivileged moms and communities formula, diapers, just resources they needed that they couldn't have. And those were the things that were the most meaningful, soul-driven parts of what I did. And that's what I really loved the most, being part of the communities, the services, giving back. I'll tell you that I raised, two incredible young daughters of mine. And the one thing I say to them is if you could do anything in this world, it's to be of service. And it's what I ask them to do. And it's what I live by that so that I could be an example for them. And so like for example, when we travel, when we do anything, we try to give back. I do a lot of charity work. Like you said, we met at a charity event. And it's what matters the most to me. I mean, we need to be taking care of certain material things, but I feel like our goal is to have those to give back, And so last year, I'll tell you a bit about a trip that I did, if that's okay.
Yes.
Okay. So I have I had my 18 year. She was 18 at the time. My daughter Kieran. I was going on a mission trip to India, self-funded, going with a priest, our family priest, who's a friend. And I kept saying to him, when I go to India the first time, I want to go with you. And he's like, I go every year. I was like, but I'm going to go with you. And just, heaven and earth moved and I was able to go. And we went to India, Tibet, and Nepal for a month. And when we went, very last minute, my daughter ended up being able to come. And we went through the holiest lands in India, from Delhi to Agra to Ayodhya, the holiest places. And what we saw was such incredible extreme poverty that I've never seen anywhere. I mean, we saw poverty here, but poverty there is a family of 15 sleeping on a tarp outside. And you're just like, how is that even possible? In places where we're staying in five-star hotels, right? And what we were able to accomplish, and this was the point, right? So I have the teenager who has, everything given to her, but she has such great values. Was to be able to see that we were able to physically hand 5,000 plates of food over to people throughout that trip, and it was the most rewarding thing to be able to hand a baby food, children food. We have incredible video of that. And the one thing I said, and I actually had gotten guided to do this, when I was like, okay, tell me what I need to be doing. I'm going on this trip. Tell me what I need to do. And I got a message from Divine Mother that she wanted us to work with the orphanages in Nepal. And so I was able to have somebody there, because we know some people in Nepal, hook us up with this orphanage that was of disabled adults and their children. And it was about 70 people. And we were able to go and visit this orphanage in Nepal, bring them fresh food and water for a month, and pay their rent for almost 6 months. And that's all, again, all self-funded, of us trying to do this and with the other 6 people we were with. So just knowing that where we're going and making an impact, and knowing that, like, we're doing it from the goodness of our heart, and we're really just trying to bring awareness to that. It's to people, right? It matters.
It
you know.
does.
And even if you got 5 people that said yes, and I had some friends, actually, quite a few friends help donate so that we could bring some of those services. And it was just incredible to be able to be the one to, and it was the hardest trip of my life. Physically, it was a hard trip. I know that everyone here goes to Mount Shasta. We all do Sedona. So I haven't been to Mount Shasta yet. I went to Sedona last year. So we went to the Vortex. We also, I took my daughter to Mount Kailash, which is the crown chakra of the world. And it is also another vortex. And it is the most physically daunting thing I've ever done in my life, because it was 13,000 feet above sea level. The air was thin. We were on oxygen. It was physically grueling. But when you got to that top of that mountain, there is a little stupa. And they actually say it's what they call the gateway between heaven and earth. And you're supposed to walk through that and say a prayer to any souls that departed. And it was even as I talk about it now, I have goosebumps. And it was, if I did nothing else, to have been able to do that with my daughter was the most incredible adventure I've had so far to date in my life.
That is truly amazing.
Thanks.
And I'm just curious, how did that affect her?
She's a different kid. I mean, she's also like the perfect daughter. She is. And I can't say that out loud because I have 2 of them. And the other one has taught me everything I need to know about patients. She's also amazing, but she is also perfect in every way. Like that, my daughter Kieran, who's the now 20-year-old, she went to college. Well, she went to high school, and she was like, "Mom, I want to be like you. I want to give back." And she became the president and founder of the Red Cross Club for East Meadow High School. She went through every hoops and bounds. When the Turkey and Syria earthquake hit, Kieran went above and beyond. She was written up in all the East Meadow papers. She did local drives for everything. And we got so much stuff to be able to go and take it to the consulates that we ended up having to rent a 15-foot U-Haul to
Mhm.
house everything in. And you know, the consulate stopped taking things. So we actually found people through networks, finding them online and in Facebook to go and take tents and sleeping bags and immediate supplies on planes to take them to Turkey.
That's
Like just
amazing.
like I said, you know, heaven and earth opens up and everybody comes together. And they said they have never seen an outpouring like that. Just, you know, and we do like the backpacks for the homeless, and she does all the blood drives, and she just, you know, it's just they're so rooted in service and giving back. Like even now, she went to college. She goes she goes to Emerson in Boston, and she became an RA so she could help others. Like she's a peer leader, so everything about her is now really seeing the world differently, um, being aware of being a minority woman in in this world today, and
Mhm.
how that affects her and how that affects other people, and how we can make a difference in bridging the gaps. Because I think that's the whole idea. It's not looking at it and saying we're different, it's how to come together and say we're the same. And that's how I see us, and that's how I think she's really like seeing that as well. Like, okay, I'm here, but it's purposeful, right? So it's all about unity. I'm not about the divisiveness. I'm really truly about the unity of how to bring people together. And that's the goal, is to bridge all those gaps.
Bridge all those gaps. And so where you're at now versus where you were. So you went from corporate America, the soul sucking office, so to speak, to becoming a hypnotist, a board certified hypnotist.
Yeah.
And tell us about that shift.
Oh gosh, amazing. So my fantastic friend and partner, Kelly Talixon, I think you know her as well.
Yes.
So you know, we were in this class, one of those psychic medium classes, and we were like, hey, why don't you have to get on this class, See? And I'm like, what class? They're like, we're all becoming hypnotists. And I'm like, hypnotist? It was not even in my peripheral. Like I wasn't even thinking about this. And we, you know, about 12 of us ended up taking this 100-hour National Guild of Hypnotists certification. And it has actually changed my life. I've been a board certified hypnotist. I've been 6 years now. It has changed my life. It is my number one tool in my toolbox, and I do all types of energy healing, as you know, Reiki, Karuna Reiki, Seraphim Blueprint, IET, the list goes on, Jesus Healing Codes. And I use all of my tools together, but when you use hypnosis, so it's rewiring the brain, it's going into the subconscious that handles 90% of our beliefs, our emotions, our feelings. You know, it is the most powerful aspect to have people heal themselves, because it is you healing yourself, right? It's that allowing yourself to change your limiting beliefs, to rewire your emotions, your beliefs. And you don't realize how many things are trauma led from childhood, right?
Mm.
Even ancestral. I got to tell you, you know, ancestral healing is a thing. DNA lineage. It's incredible, because you know I do age regression, and I do past lives as well. I do soul level healing. Thank you, Kelly. And like I said, it's the biggest tool. What people spend 15 years in therapy for, you can fix in a session or two. A great session is never having to come back. And we are able to do that in hypnosis. It is the most beautiful tool. And I do metaphysical hypnosis. So we are, you know, we're talking to another psychic medium. We can talk to spirit. We
Yeah.
talk to spirit in hypnosis. And the shifts of you in your 3D version, right? And then getting them to that oneness, that sense of oneness while they are in a progressed, relaxed state, is just beyond anything. It's the most incredible sessions you've ever been in. And it's very similar. I know a lot of people do QHHT. It's similar. It is metaphysical hypnosis. You are going back to a starting point. You are, you know, and you know, as an energy healer, there is no time. There is no space. There is, you know, it's just here and now is everything. And so to be able to take them to that space and healing them on the spot for all timelines, all lineages is just profound. It is my biggest tool, and it's my favorite tool. And Kelly and I both, we run the Long Island chapter of the National Guild of Hypnotists. And it's just so rewarding. We have such an incredible chapter. And they do, we see each other once a month, even if it's on Zoom, and we do in person. And this year, actually, the Guild is next week. They have a conference every year. And we go, and this year I'm not able to make it. And the owners have called me and said, "What do you mean you're not coming?" So I'm like, "I'm so sorry. It just, I had a lot of other commitments." So it's pretty awesome. We have a great community.
That's an amazing community.
Yeah.
That's an amazing community.
And again, I think, Janice, it's all about how do we show up in this world, right? It's how do we help others? So we're talking about peace, right? So it's how do we find the peace within to help bring that out for other people, to be that match that lights other people's matches, right? Like that's how I see it. How are you bringing your light? And as you and I've talked candidly off camera, that doesn't mean that we're all love and light and our life is perfect. It means that we've come out of the darkness to bring ourselves here, and we're able to help other people on that journey of bringing them out of that darkness because we've lived it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And noting that very candid conversation, many of my viewers and listeners know that I came out of an abusive relationship. Like, it was not extreme as some, but significant all the same. And it takes a while to come back to who you are. It's like, who am I now that I'm not in this reality? And it's sometimes hard to find peace. So having gone through that, the definition of peace can change from day to day, from moment to moment. So what is your definition, your personal definition of peace?
I think you see, even just taking that breath and knowing there's nothing behind it, right? It's definitely, I'm coming through, and this is something that no one really knows yet, but now your reader's going to know, your viewers are going to know. So here we go. I'm actually now myself getting divorced from a toxic situation that should not have been. And I'm not here to bash because that's not it. Every single thing has brought me to this now moment, and I'm grateful. And I am grateful for the years that we had, that, now I'm in the throes of this divorce as well. I'm grateful for the years. I'm grateful for the blessings of my children because they're the most incredible things in this whole world to me. But I'm grateful for the peace. I'm grateful for the calm. I wake up I wake up in peace. I wake up with being able to wake up and you know what? If my Reiki music's still playing on the TV, great. If it's if it's the rain that's playing on the TV, I wake up where I can breathe, where there is calm, where there's peace in the house. There's no toxicity. There's no contempt. There's no, I'm just able to be. I'm able to wake up and, there are things to be done, but it's having that breath and there's nothing behind it. It's not for survival. Yeah. It's for peace. That's what it feels like. It's just the calm. It's the calm. If I had known, I would have done this years ago. The calm. And then being able to be that for the kids. The tone in the house is different. It's breathable. The air is lighter.
Yeah.
It feels different.
Yeah.
And it's a nice place to be.
Yeah.
It's a nice place to be. To wake up and be able to say, thank you. I mean, because I do everything. I try to do everything with gratitude. I can, you know, I know I'm all about love and light, but I'm one to drop my F-bombs too, because I will be real. I'm a girl from Queens.
You're not alone. You're not alone. Although when I drop them, most people like stop and go, "Do we run yet?" Um,
Not with me. They're like, okay, it's another Tuesday.
and with that definition of peace and that feeling of peace, how do you cultivate it? How do you continually bring it into your life every day?
Honestly, I have trusted friends, right? And you know, they look at me and they're like, "Do you see the difference in your life? Do you see the difference?" I mean, because you know, also I will say that when you're in a controlled relationship or a controlled or an abusive relationship, there are times that you don't even realize you're in it,
Hmm.
right? You don't realize what you're being formed into. You don't realize what you're being conformed into, right? You don't see it until you see it. And then sometimes you're like, is this it? And I remember in the last few years, I'm like, this is not the rest of my life. And I would say it out loud. This is not the rest of my life. And I would be told, yes, it is. I was like, oh no, it's not. Oh no, it's not. It's not the rest of my life. I guarantee you there's a way out. And finally, like just one day, again, the heavens opened up and they were like, here's your path, walk it. And I did, and I am. And again, I do it for me, but I do it for my children, that they see what strength is, they see what resilience is. They are young women. I am breaking the ancestral pattern of relationships that do not work. And that's what the most important thing is. And I think, you know, we're coming into this, you know, new ascension, this new pattern where the divine feminine must wake up and live in a way that's authentic and then bring others up with them. So that definition of peace and that bringing myself here wasn't just for me. It was raising those around me. And, you know, I talk a lot about neurocognitive patterning, right? And the whole idea of that is we did these things that we conformed to. We conformed to roles that didn't define us or didn't support us as we grew. And my goal right now is to redefine all those roles. Take them, throw them out the window. You know, I'm not the wife anymore. Yay. Yes, I am the mom. But you know, I want to be the person that helps others in their growth. I want to be that light warrior that helps less trauma in this world, gets rid of that trauma, helps people succeed, helps people find their own peace. You know, I have a foundation called Sisters of the Light with some fantastic people. And our goal is honestly to help women and children mostly, but obviously men if they need to be there, of course, children um, get we need to be rid of the trauma, and however that is, we're here to help, right? And so we're doing, you know, we're looking at doing retreats, we're looking at doing more classes. I've taught for years, I've taught energy healing for years, but I'm looking to do more classes. And a lot of what we're doing is then to give back to local charities or even local people, local families, some of what we raise so that we can help out others. And again, it's all about being service and bringing that little bit of peace, because we know that people in abusive situations, especially women, because we actually just helped a friend get out of an abusive marriage, and we were able to take her and her children and get them out of there, get them out and actually move them a couple of states away. And it was all fly by night, but it's funding, being able to fund that for them.
Yeah.
And so those are the things we're looking at. Like, how do we do? I mean, I don't really want to do that aspect, but it was a life or death, and we were able to do it. We were able to get her out, get her kids out, get her safely, and have resources states away that were waiting for her to help move her and her kids. And those are the things that you're like, how do we do this? How do we help people? And it's just, you know, God shows us the way. Somehow people we didn't know knew other people that knew other people that was able to help us and help her. And so, you know, just lots of different missions, Janice, and you don't know what's there until, you know, I never thought I was going to be doing that aspect, but here we are.
Yeah, no, and it's very important work. And like I said, I didn't have those resources, so getting out was a little bit more challenging. If I had had those resources, it probably would have been a little bit easier. I needed to go I need to go through what I went through so that I can help others in a similar way.
Agree. Well, that's
Because
our niche, right? That becomes our niche.
that
What
becomes
we
our
went
niche.
through. Yeah.
And that's where I can say it's like I've had an eating disorder, I can help with that. I've been in an abusive relationship, I can help with that.
Right.
I've survived motherhood, I can help with that. You know.
I'm somewhat surviving motherhood. I don't know that I came out unscathed, but
Nobody comes out unscathed.
I still have a 15-year-old.
So you talked a little bit about how you help others, but really what are some of your daily practices or consistent practices? They don't even have to be daily.
I will tell you daily. I actually, one of the things I do, many things I do. I wake up and I pray every day. My first thing is I get up, I take a shower, I come outside, I pray. I light my candles, I set sacred space every single morning. And it keeps me grounded. It keeps me renewed. I pray for my kids. I pray for the safety. I pray for the world. I do pray for peace. I set sacred space. I set an intention for my day. And I do that every day. And I'm not going to tell you that I'm sitting there and that, the anxiety is not there. It is. But it keeps me grounded, and honestly, having faith, talking to God, talking to my guides, talking to the angels. That my kids are like, you're crazy. You talk to the angels and you're a tree hugger. I'm like, the funny part is you guys do too. You just call it different. And then they'll come and say, Mom, we lit this candle for that. I'm like, yeah, I know. And they're like, but and so I laugh at them because they're like, you're the tree hugger, Mom. I'm like, yeah, I am. And so will you be. You don't realize it yet. But having the practices of being grounded and giving thanks and realizing there is higher jurisdiction. Like, I can't do anything without realizing that I am connected to source. I am part of that. Every single person that I meet is also part of that. So if someone irks me, okay, what do I need to learn from this? What is it that I didn't learn from this? I mean, and I get annoyed. I'm not telling you I don't. I help run a functional wellness practice in the city. And, there are days I'm exhausted, and there are days I have to look around and say, oh my God, look at how many people we're helping. Look at what we're doing. Look at how many, and the reason I actually said yes to that, my partner's amazing, Michaela, is because it is such root cause medicine, which is what we do in our spiritual work, right? Yep. Its root cause is, how do we get people back to center? And that's exactly what we do in our practice. And no matter where I am, whether I'm at home, whether I'm in traffic or on the train or in the clinic, I am bringing those same aspects of me to all of it. I'm grounding the space. I'm blessing the space every day. I'm excited to talk to people. So in the clinic, everybody that walks in, I talk to. So I'm hearing a little bit more about their journey. I'm able to be of service and of help. And that's really where I find myself. And I really do take a minute a day and say, wow, look at what we're doing. Look at how we're impacting people. Look at how we're helping people. I mean, I know people who sit down all day long and watch CNN or Fox News, and I'm like,
no. I'm sorry, a little cringy.
I know. Well, I'm like, and I'm like, you're like, do you? I'm like, I don't even watch the news. Listen, I was a Doreen Virtue before Doreen Virtue changed. So we're talking about 30 plus years ago, where no fear-based media. So I still don't do fear-based media, right? I don't watch it, but I get most of my news from like Facebook or something else that pops up. I know I shouldn't say that. But I really go with the day to day and try to be as involved as I can be while being as in touch with my oneness as possible.
That connection is very important to peace.
It is, because I'll tell you, without it, navigating my life changes now. And, there, there are days, obviously, you go through a myriad of emotions, right? When you're dealing with all these things in life and finances and bills and divorce and raising kids. But if I didn't have that connection that grounds me, that I could say, okay, what do I really need to see? What's the truth out of all of this? Where do I need to be? And you know what? Doors open that you don't even know are opening, right? Like there's never a lack. That's self imposed, that's community imposed, right? There's never lack, there's more than enough.
Yeah.
You look at that and you're like, well, that's because God is reminding me that we're all one and there's all connection. And if you're thinking lack, that's an illusion. The peace is the oneness. And when you really think and you really sit, it's all of that peace is what's equal to love. Like that oneness is love. And that's where I am.
And so that oneness and that peace that we all like to center into in gratitude, being in gratitude, which helps bring the peace. So it's kind of like the dominoes in place.
Yeah.
How are the some of like what's in your toolbox? What are some of the things you like to pull out to like? Let's use the 15-year-old as an example because teenagehood is
She
fun.
is the most incredible, sassiest. And I look at her and I say to her, I'm like, listen, while you're very challenging to me. Well, that's because she was born with her personality, right? She's an Aries kid. She's born with her personality. I could say blue, and if she says that's green, it is green. Right. And so it's just me, you can't impose on her will. And being able to turn around and say, you know what, I appreciate that in you. You do have to work with me because you're still 15, but I want you to make sure that this is who you are for the rest of your life. So no one else can tell you it's blue if you tell me it's green. So understanding and respecting her and understanding and also meeting her where she is huge, right? But there are things that I wish she had better study habits. I wish she cleans her room more. It's those type of things. No, you can't go out and eat outside food because it's not healthy for you. So like my whole goal for them right now is being the healthiest version of themselves too. Right. So she's had, she's a bit of a psychic medium herself. And I can't say a bit, she's a huge psychic medium herself.
Okay. I was going to say, I might correct you on that.
She is huge. And that's part of the reason, it's very hard because trying to teach a kid who's in high school. Now, think of just the energetic aspect of that, right? A kid who's in high school with all the other kids that are anxiety ridden with their lives, and then having to deal with this 3D existence of math and biology and whatever else she's dealing with, and the peer pressure of society as a 15-year-old girl. And then trying to tell her that, listen, you have to go within. You have to be true to yourself. You have to really just be you, and it will all fall into place. That's easier said than done as a 50-year-old, 51-year-old than a 15-year-old, right? And that peer pressure of every day weighs on her. And so, she has a lot of emotions as a 15-year-old girl, and she's had a lot of health challenges as well. Because she is so gifted, she's had a lot of her body wasn't able to catch up a lot of the time. So she has had Bell's palsy 3 times. And she was, they say mycoplasma bacterial pneumonia. So right when COVID happened, she was in ICU for 5 days on a BiPAP machine. And, thank God for the spiritual community and my incredible friends that are such gifted healers. We were able to get her off that BiPAP machine, get her out, get her healthy when other people weren't, right? We did so much energy work on her. And she was able to walk out unscathed. Yeah, she has some health issues, but we understand that as light workers that we do have challenges as well that we have to overcome. And her health is her challenge. And so when we're back and forth, it's about don't eat that fried food. It's not good for you. eat something more of Mother Earth, more fruits and vegetables. So a lot of that is, Mom, I'm tired of listening to you telling me like eat a fruit. You know? And I literally think I say it every day. Drink water. Drink water. Empower your water before you put it in your body. Like, and they look at me that like, Mom, what are you talking about? But they know. They just
I
want to
know.
tell me no. They just want to tell me no. You know?
My son is very much the same way. He will never forget when I started doing Reiki. I just gotten certified to teach, and he had a migraine, and I was working on him, and he goes, I took my hand off for just a second. He goes, no, put that back. I want, that felt good. I go, honey, that was Reiki. And all of a sudden, my hand was on the other side of my body. But he knows it works because he was a wrestler in high school, wrestler in the cross. And if he would get hurt, and we'd do the traditional medical route, come back with a wrap or a sprain or crutches or whatever it was, and I go, do you want Reiki? And he knows that I do it remotely for a lot of my clients.
Yeah.
And he goes, maybe, which translates, if you speak
Yes, of course.
Jeffrey, yes, on the teddy bear. I'm going to go in my room. You do it on the teddy bear. And I'm going to because I use a teddy bear as a visual representation.
I have a Tinkerbell doll. That's mine. Mine is a Tinkerbell doll.
So you understand, but he knows. It's like, well, I know you can do it. Just don't make it weird. So instead of making it weird, go do it on.
That's funny. That's hysterical. Well, they do it too. Yeah. Like they do too. You know, I remember when she was like 8 years old, and I remember we were on vacation, and we must have picked up a straggler. And she looks at me and she goes, you know, why don't you just pluck it? She's 8. And I was like, what? She goes, you know, you could just pluck that energy out. And, I actually use that as a method now with them. Like if there's something going on, I do the plucking and I give it back, which is part of IET. And she was 8 and had no idea of IET and all of that. And so, they're just so gifted. And again, because they're so gifted, I want them to go within a little bit more. But she is all Aries fire. But I will tell you, but looking, how is it? I'm Pisces moon. I'm just all Pisces. But I love the fact that I'm able to see them for who they are as people, not just my children. Mm-hmm. I'm able to meet them where they are, and I'm able to still guide them. And it's the best part about this is that my kids are so incredible that they're able to guide me. So I actually am able to talk to them. So they actually, when a lot of these life changes have been happening the last few months, they give me advice. And it's just weird to hear, because here's this 15 and 20-year-old, but they're so wise beyond their years. And they're like, I just feel the need to tell you this. So they're getting channels and they're giving it. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. We joke. I've always said it to them. We're the power of 3. It's me and my 2 girls. And, they're now at, it's been always been the power of 3, Mom. And that's where we are. And it brings peace, and having them. I mean, I don't know what I did great in this world to have them and for them to choose me as their mother, but I thank God every single day, multiple times a day, for those girls. It brings you back to center.
And definitely. And it's a powerful thing to be a parent, for sure. Because you literally, you're creating, and you don't stop. And just let's be real. Your mom is still your mom, and your dad is still your dad, and we're well into our years. So, and there's always something to learn, because they got to do it first. It's kind of like, I am the oldest of 4. I don't hide that either. But I am like the test pancake. Oh, it didn't work with that one, so we know not to, it's like, and every kid's being different. But it's kind of like, there's certain things like, we'll try this discipline tactic because it worked with her. Oh, it doesn't work with you. Okay, so they're always navigating. We're always learning. I only have one. So if it didn't work, it didn't work.
Well, they're also very different kids. So like I have to, you can't meet them they're not the same people. They're not the same. No. You can't handle one the same way you handle the other. I try to tell them there are no favorites. I tell them, you're my favorite Kieran, you're my favorite Jenna. They don't believe that either.
I can understand why. I'm
Well, you
not
say
gonna
you
lie.
say you're the oldest of four. I'm the youngest of three, three girls, and it's different because I feel like I've been the gel for
Mhm.
a lot of us for the whole time. Like I've always done the Thanksgivings, and I've always done the family parties, and I've always so my life transition right now affects everybody in the family, and my parents live with me. Have a mother daughter. They live with me. So everything, I've kind of like shaken up the family. So I can't wait to see how that all lands. I don't know what that looks like yet, but it's exciting to see. Listen, maybe we all need to like see
You
how
are
we
you
actually all live better now.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's gonna shake out fine. People are gonna
Mhm.
find their legs. They're gonna find things out that they didn't realize that they knew or needed to know, and it's eye opening for everybody in a different way.
In a good way, because
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
they
For
have to
sure.
feel a difference of the energy in this house. Wow. The energy in this house, like I said, you go to bed peaceful, you wake up peaceful. It's
There's
it's a
no
beautiful thing.
eggshells. There's no more
There's none.
eggshells. There's no more hot coals. Nothing like that.
No. I think the only thing that the kids keep telling me, I come home too tired. I'm like, guys, I work all day. I'm awake at 4 when you're Jenna woke up at 11:30. I'm like, I'm up at 4. Not because I want to be, but I can't sleep past 4 or 5. Like you're waking up 11:30. Yes, I'm dead tired at 9. And so they're like, you're too tired for us. Kids, wake up.
Well, you once this turbulence is over, that too is going to be relieved.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's traveling. I also traveled to New York City. I thought I stopped
Yeah.
that. And Meraki the company ended up moving. We closed out all our Long Island offices and moved into the city. And so it's just, it's many hours a day, but it's beautiful because there's nothing like that bustle of New York City. And so, I spend the hours traveling besides being in the city. And so when I come home, like, I don't want to do anything. I mean, I'll watch a movie with the kids, but I don't want to do anything. I just want to be.
Yep. Yep.
And it's a beautiful feeling to come home and feel peace and to just be. And to see those smiling faces when I walk in, you know. Even the dogs, like our dogs are like thrilled when I come home. They've been acting different too.
Well, they
They
definitely know. Animals and kids big on it first.
so the dog actually jumps up and greets me now. Like she was doing it all the time, but now she like wants hugs and definite like more time when I walk in. Like her happiness is just skyrocketed. And the funny part is like he was her favorite person. So I don't even understand what's going on. She's happy too.
So, one of my favorite questions is what's in your toolbox?
What's in my toolbox?
So you kind of touched on it with even before we got started, but toolbox things you like to pull out for your clients that we can kind of use in our own everyday lives when bringing peace into our dailies.
So what do I do? I mean, gosh, I don't even know how to answer that. I mean, I teach everybody the spiritual protection. That's really my biggest spiritual tool is protection, right? Starting the day with sacred space. Bubbling up is huge. People don't even like when I tell people, you have to bubble up, and they're like, what does that mean? I'm like, put everything in intention, put yourself in that bubble of protection, peace, love. You walk out with intention so you're not absorbing other people's energies through the day. That's a big tool. Literally going out and I use Saint Germain's Violet Flame. So before I walk out of my house, my car, my road, work, the building, the world is violet flames as my own carpet before I get there. And that is literally just transmuting anything that is not for my highest good and those I interact with for the day into beautiful, loving space of highest vibration. And that is the intention I go out with. And that is something huge that I do every day in my toolbox. That's the one thing, um, with this setting intention and having gratitude. So I lay my head on my pillow at night and I thank God for a beautiful day and for the people who love me to still be here, um, and the people I love, and just being able to being this showing up as this version of myself and getting better every day and healing more and allowing myself to heal and allowing others to heal and just being in that space. Um, wow, it's profound to me. Showing up authentically. That's a tool.
It's a
That
hard one for some people, though. It
it's
took
the
me a
hardest
while.
it's the hardest I've ever had to be, to sit here and say, and I remember I was talking to one of my brother-in-laws in March, and I said, I said, I know that this is I know the progression. And he's like, what made you decide? And I said, because I had to show up authentically, because I ask everybody else of me to do the same. I ask my clients, I ask my friends to be authentic. So how was I living a life that I wasn't authentic? And he looked at me and he goes, most people don't do that. And I said, my brother-in-law Willis, I've known him since I was 14. I love him so much. And I said, but that's the point. I can't do this without being real to myself and to everyone around me. And that was a change. And I'm so grateful that I was able to be that way, because not everybody's able to be. Not everybody is ready to be, right? And so being able to say, here I am, and this is all the changes I'm going to make, and God's going to show me the way because I don't have my footing yet, is beautiful. And I am so blessed that I am able to be here and show up as this version of myself.
Authenticity is not easy, but it is worth it.
Oh God, yes. Oh yeah.
And are there any other thoughts or ponderings of peace that you would like us to take away with ourselves today?
I would just say that honestly, it starts with you. How you show up for yourself is how you show up for others. Being in that vibration of peace, of love, of forgiveness. We didn't talk about forgiveness. We talk about gratitude.
Big one.
Forgiveness is huge. If you guys have not ever heard of Ho'oponopono, but I'm sure your podcast has,
Yeah.
I do Ho'oponopono every day in some form or fashion. I do Ho'oponopono. I started doing it with money because I'm like, listen,
I just read that today.
I must have screwed up somewhere. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. And I mean, I do bring in, and the difference is too, like, because I'm not religious, right? My family, my ex-husband, ex-husband is Hindu. My parents are Muslim. My sister is a Protestant and Baptist. I was born, I read the Bible growing up, sent my kids to Bible camp. I've taken them to every church. I call on St. Michael. I wear his pendant. I work with the saints. Just, I do, all these things, but being able to just saying, listen, there's so much spirituality that we have and so many tools that we can adopt and adapt. I do a lot of Eastern and Western religions, and I bridge them all. So my faith is very intertwined. So I work with the Hindu gods, and I work with the saints, and I work with all of that. And I don't feel like there's still, it's oneness, it's one God, right? In just many different forms. And I work with all of it. I call on Divine Mother every day. Bringing in practices that you look at, again, and I think we talked about this, was how do we bridge these gaps? How do we realize that it is all one? And that's what I work with. And I can meet people wherever they are. I mean, I have a lot of people who come to me with all different religions, and even like they work with the Orishas, and where I'm able to have all those conversations because it's just being open-minded and saying, listen, you have to respect people no matter where they are, because there's good and bad in everything. And let's look at the good. Let's look at how we could show up for people and make us more unified, because what we're looking at around this world is the exact opposite.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it is. And I think it's by design, but that is a different podcast.
Well, that's why we're here, trying to bridge those gaps.
Yeah.
And be healers, and to bring peace, and to bring forgiveness, like we were talking about. Like, that's the biggest one, is forgiving yourself and forgiving all those around you. And that's a big step to healing and bridging those gaps, right?
Yes. So I thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Janice.
Thank you for coming on, Zee. And I want to share with everybody an upcoming event in October. Many people are aware October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. However, it is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and it kind of gets overshadowed. And this October, we'll be hosting an event here on Long Island in honor of raising awareness and also raising funds for a wonderful organization called ECLI Vibes. They help women and families, women with children and LGBT community get out of abusive relationships. They offer counseling, legal services. They have a food bank, which is self-choice, and is really a wonderful cause. And they have a hope line, 24/7 hope line. And I'm inviting everybody to come out and join us on October 7th. The link will be at the bottom of this episode, as well as a link to Zee's website. And you can contact her for any services, hypnosis, mindset, just learning more about peace. And I want to thank everybody today for being with me. And Zee.
Thank you so much, Janice. And I actually would love to talk to you more about that, because I will definitely be at that event with you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
We'll put Zee in the green room. I'll be right back. Thank you, everybody. And I'm so grateful you joined us today. And I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode.